Good afternoon, friends and all the participants. Now we are going to start the webinar and play a Aikai motto song. I request all the participants to put their right hand on the heart. Thank you. Now I request our dynamic chairman, Shri Fanil Shah, to address the participants who had tremendously worked hard to make us all unlock in this locking situation. Though it's the last day of this webinar series, but with hard work and efforts of our chairman, we are able to be unlocked. So please welcome CA Fanil Shah, Chairman of Ahmedabad branch. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bishan Bhai. So today we are on the last day, the third day to end up with the series. The speaker of the day, CA Mehul Thakkar, Chairman of Anand branch, Bhavesh Thakkar, the chairmen of other branches of Gujarat, CA Vinay Shakaria, Chairman Rajkot branch, CA Manoj Goyal, Chairman Bhavnagar branch, CA Jitendra Thakkar, Chairman Bhuj branch, CA Karan Thakkar, Chairman Gandhidham branch, CA Dipesh Bhuj, Chairman Jamnagar branch, the Directex Committee Chairman of Ahmedabad branch, CA Sunil Sanghvi, Secretary of Bishan Shah, and other members of all the branches present. I welcome you all to this last day. Though Bishan Bhai told that it's an efforts of mine, but I can say that without his constant support on technical side, this would not have been possible. And friends, today we are having 6 webinars, right? So every time to manage these things, also to manage the technicalities, and we being not that too techno-savvy, heartiest appreciation for Bishan Bhai to manage all these things from his end, along with his own work from home and work for home. Now, yesterday I gave you one task that we all should suggest our views that how our economy should revive. Now, friends, more tasks, and I am feeling more than glad to announce that till today, our Ahmedabad branch has contributed more than 32 lakhs to our PM COVID fund. Friends, I also request you that if you have donated either to PM Care Fund or to ICAI COVID Fund, kindly share us the data so that we can represent it further, and the link to share the data is mailed to you all yesterday. Also, I generously appeal that still if you have not donated, kindly donate whatever you can donate, because it's a high time our economy and our government needs our support to fight with this COVID relief fund. I again thank Sunil Sanghvi for meticulously planning this series and coordinating with all the faculties, and to have a good end. Today, we are having the last day of the series. So with these words, now I request Sunil Sanghvi to take the session further. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fanil Bhai. I welcome you all, dignitaries on the dais and dear participants. Today's topic, concept of limited scrutiny and clause-by-clause analysis of taxation and other laws, relaxation of certain provisions, Ordinance 2020. We know that immediately after the lockdown, the pressure of compliance and the scrutiny assessment is going to be started. This year, we know the time-bearing date for the completing the scrutiny for the assessment in 2018-19, that is 30th September 2020 at present. Today, our faculty will discuss the scope of the limited scrutiny. Whether during the course of the assessment, the AO can travel beyond the reasons for the limited scrutiny which is recorded. Whether the AO can go for the completed scrutiny, what are the approvals required if the AO can do so. Government also proactive notified the relaxation where the deadlines will be deferred to 30th June 2020. We know most of the deadlines have been deferred. My question is, Mehul sir, to address that. Let's say notice is under section 133(6). The time limit is given in 133(6) that you have to submit it days or 10 days or so. Whether deferred by this ordinance, friends. Yes, today is the last day of our series, but this is not an end. We are planning topics and announced within 3, 4, 5 days that when the design is over. See, further, all the 3 days webinar, we are compiling the key points of all the 3 days. The Chartered Accountant Vishal Mehta, Chartered Accountant Harshit Jaswani, Chartered Accountant Ayush Zariwal, who is supporting and compiling all these things. Any query for the today's topic, I would request everyone to post on the WhatsApp group. We will try to take up in the last few minutes, and let's say if something is left out, it will be replied in the WhatsApp group. You know everyone that all the preceding 2 days, all the queries have been replied so far. I welcome today's faculty, CA Mehul Bhai Thakkar. Thank you very much. And I request now the Anand Branch Chairman Thakkar to introduce our today's speaker.
Good afternoon all. I am CA Bhavesh Thakkar, Chairman of Anand Branch of WRC of ICAI. It is my honor, privilege and proud moment to introduce today's speaker, CA Mehul Thakkar. CA Mehul Thakkar is a fellow member of ICAI. He is a rank holder in the CA exams. He is in a practice for more than 22 years. He is also members of Income Tax Appellate Tribunal Bar Associations and CA Association of Ahmedabad and many more places. He is speakers at various branches of ICAI and ICSI. With these few words, I formally introduce CA Mehul Thakkar with big round of applause. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Bhavesh. Respected Principal CIT, our chief guest of the seminar, Mehrotra ji, our young and dynamic CCM Aniket Talati, young and energetic Chairman Fenil Shah, young and my dear Satsangi, Anand Branch Chairman Bhavesh Thakkar, my dear and close friend Sunil Sanghvi, what Sunil Bhai said, that our Secretary, Branch Secretary and Technical Coordinator Bishan Bhai, my co-speaker, Senior Advocate Tushar Ramani and CA Palak Pavagati, seniors and members in the profession. Before we jump onto this topic for which I have been invited today, I really request everybody to understand the meaning of our ICAI motto. Right now, I have got Sankar Bhashya Upanishad in my hand. It is Kathopanishad. And I am reading that Bhavarth or Anuvad of this Ya Esa Suttersu Jagarti. I am reading in Hindi first. यहाँ शंकराचार्य 1200 साल पहले हमें बता रहे हैं, इसका भावार्थ बता रहे हैं। प्राणादि के सो जाने पर जो यह पुरुष अपने इच्छित पदार्थों की रचना करता हुआ जागता रहता है, वही शुद्ध है, वह ब्रह्म है और वही अमृत कहलाता है। उसमें संपूर्ण लोक आश्रित है, कोई भी उसका उल्लंघन नहीं कर सकता। निश्चय ही वह ब्रह्म है। तो ये कठोपनिषद में 2.2-8 जब हमारे साउदर्न इंडिया के सेंट्रल काउंसिल मेंबर CS शास्त्री, जब हमारी इंस्टीट्यूट का फॉर्मेशन हुआ था 49 में, तब उन्होंने अरविंदो घोष अप्रोच किया था कि हमारी इंस्टीट्यूट के लिए कौन सा मोटो रखा जाए। तब उन्होंने हमें ये मोटो पौंडीचेरी आश्रम में दिया गया था। अभी उसको हम ध्यान से वापिस मैं उसको पढ़ रहा हूं। प्राणादि के सो जाने पर यह पुरुष अपने इच्छित पदार्थों की रचना करता हुआ जागता रहता है। यानी ये बता रहे हैं, अगर मैं बात करूं द्वैत की, तो वो परम पुरुष परम पिता भगवान की बात कर रहे हैं। वो हमारे सो जाने पर भी वो जागते रहते हैं। वही शुद्ध है, वही ब्रह्म है, वही अमृत कहलाते हैं, और उनमें सब लोक आश्रित है और कोई भी उनका उल्लंघन नहीं कर सकता, और निश्चय ही वही ब्रह्म है। And what normally when we interpret High Court, Supreme Court judgment, tribunal judgment, then there are Supreme Court judgments where it has been clearly said, whenever you would like to interpret, read any judgment, then don't pick out or choose any word or sentence diverse from the context in which that judgment has been delivered. So similarly, what I request all the members to listen next verse in कठोपनिषद, ये कठोपनिषद का दूसरा अध्याय, दूसरी वल्ली का 8वां श्लोक, जो हमारा ICI का मोटो है। अब मैं 9वां पढ़ने जा रहा हूं। जिस प्रकार संपूर्ण भुवन में प्रविष्ट हुआ एक अग्नि प्रत्येक रूप के अनुरूप हो जाता है, उसी प्रकार संपूर्ण भूतों का एक ही अंतरात्मा उनके रूप के अनुरूप हो रहा है, तथा बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट वर्ड लिखा है, उनके बाहर भी है। तो ये 2:9 ये कहता है कि जब अग्नि पकड़ लेती है तो वो उसके साथ एक रूप हो जाती है। जिस चीज को पकड़ लेती है अग्नि, तो अभी फिर हमें अग्नि ही दिखाई देती है, वो चीज नहीं दिखाई देती, उसके साथ एक रूप हो जाती है। उसी तरह हमारे में परमात्मा है और हमारे शरीर में होने की वजह से हम एक्टिवेट है। अगर हम निश्चेतन हो जाते हैं, परमात्मा चले जाते हैं, आत्मा चली जाती है, तो हम निश्चेतन हो जाते हैं, तो उस शरीर का फिर कोई मतलब नहीं रहता। तो हमारे साथ भगवान एक रूप हो जाते हैं। और यही उपनिषद ये कह रहा है, कठोपनिषद, के हमारे बाहर भी वो है, यानी उनका एक साकार रूप भी है। जैसे हमारा शरीर है, ऐसे भगवान का भी एक शरीर है। इस तरह इसका अर्थघटन जो मैं द्वैत थियोरी पढ़ रहा हूं, अकॉर्डिंगली उसको करना चाहिए। तो यहाँ जो पहला पोर्शन है हमारा 8वें श्लोक का, वो ये कहता है कि प्राणादि के सो जाने पर वह जागता रहता है। उसकी वजह से ही हमें ये दिया गया ये श्लोक हमारे ICI के मोटो में, कि जब शेयर होल्डर, गवर्नमेंट, सब लोग सो जाए, वो चिंता मत करें। So far as true and fair is concerned, so far as our attest function is concerned, so far as our duties are concerned as a profession of the CA fraternity, तो आप लोग सो जाए, आप निश्चिंत रहे, हम आपके लिए जरूर जागेंगे। लेकिन मैं धन्यवाद दूंगा शास्त्री जी को, जिन्होंने, वो साउदर्न इंडिया के रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे थे, सेंट्रल काउंसिल मेंबर, उन्होंने हमारे लिए अरविंदो घोष से ये चुना, क्योंकि एक अकेला ऑब्जेक्टिव इंस्टीट्यूट हमसे नहीं मांग रही। इंस्टीट्यूट हमारे कर्म पर जरूर फोकस कर रही है मोटो के साथ, लेकिन भगवान की क्या आज्ञा है, मैं भागवत गीता से 2 छोटे वर्ष पढ़ूंगा, फिर हमारे टॉपिक पे हम आगे जाएंगे। भगवान की क्या आज्ञा है कि सिर्फ हम कर्मी बनकर रह जाए, या कुछ उससे आगे हम हमारा उत्थान करें। भगवान की क्या इच्छा है। मैं अभी पढ़ रहा हूँ भागवत गीता, वही गीतोपनिषद कहलाता है। ऐसे तो वो उपनिषद में शिरोमणि कहलाता है गीतोपनिषद, जो भगवान कृष्ण ने अर्जुन को युद्ध के मैदान में बताई थी। उसमें 6ठे अध्याय में 46 नंबर का वर्ष, वहां भगवान क्या बता रहे हैं हमें। भगवान अर्जुन को बता रहे हैं, लेकिन अर्जुन के माध्यम से हमें बता रहे हैं कि योगी पुरुष, भगवान ये बता रहे हैं, योगी पुरुष तपस्वी, ज्ञानी और कर्मी से श्रेष्ठ होता है। तो भगवान क्या बता रहे हैं, योगी पुरुष तपस्वी, ज्ञानी और कर्मी से श्रेष्ठ होता है, और अर्जुन तुम सर्व परिस्थिति में योगी बनने का प्रयत्न करो। तो भगवान सिर्फ कर्मी बनने की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं। इसलिए जो ICI का मोटो चुना गया है, वो 2 वजह से चुना गया है। एक तो हमें जागृत रहना है गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से, स्टेक होल्डर की तरफ से, और दूसरा हमें खुद भी जागृत होकर उस ब्रह्म को पहचानना है, और हमें खुद भी जागृत होकर उस पर ब्रह्म का दर्शन भी करना है। तो 2 फोल्ड ऑब्जेक्टिव है, यानी वही ऑब्जेक्टिव भगवान यहाँ बता रहे हैं कि तुम्हें सिर्फ कर्मी नहीं बनना है, तुम्हें योगी बनना है। अब सवाल ये उठेगा, योगी किसको बोलेंगे। तो अगर मान लो मैं तपस्वी हूँ और मैं ध्यान कर रहा हूँ, अगर मैं ध्यान कोई बिंदु का या कोई ज्वाला का कर रहा हूँ, तो वो वो ध्यान ठीक ध्यान नहीं है, वो ध्यान योगी नहीं कहलाएगा, वो सिर्फ ध्यान कहलाएगा। अगर मैं भगवान का ध्यान करता हूं तो मैं ध्यान योगी कहलाऊंगा। उसी तरह मैं कर्म कर रहा हूं, अगर मैं भगवान के लिए कर्म कर रहा हूं मन से तन से, तो मैं कर्म योगी कहलाऊंगा। उसी तरह मैं ज्ञान, बहुत सारे ज्ञान हम अर्जन करते हैं, जैसे अभी आज टॉपिक है इनकम टैक्स को लेकर, उसका ज्ञान अर्जन करेंगे। बहुत सारे कोविड की क्या परिस्थिति है उसका ज्ञान हम कंटिन्यूसली व्हाट्सएप के जरिए अर्जन करते हैं। लेकिन अगर हम भगवान के बारे में ज्ञान अर्जन करते हैं तो वो ज्ञान योगी कहलाता है, यानी भगवान के साथ उनका जुड़ाव। योग मीन्स उनके साथ का संपर्क, उनके साथ का योग, तो तब जाके वो योगी कहलाता है। अब सवाल ये उठेगा कि भगवान ने इतने सारे योगी बताए, तो उसमें श्रेष्ठ योगी कौन? अब वहां थोड़ा ऑफेंसिव लगेगा, लेकिन अब भगवान बोल रहे हैं और भगवान बोल रहे हैं तो हम कुछ नहीं कह सकते हैं। तो लास्ट वर्ष, इसके बाद हम हमारा टॉपिक शुरू करेंगे। 6ठे अध्याय का 47 नंबर, वहां भगवान बता रहे हैं सारे योगियों में से जो योगी मुझे श्रद्धा पूर्वक अंतःकरण में मुझे वर्शिप करता है, वह मेरे हिसाब से उत्तम योगी है। मैं वो वर्ड पढ़ रहा हूं, श्रद्धावान भजते यो माम समय युक्तम मतो मतः। तो भगवान का ये मत है कि जो श्रद्धावान मुझे भजता है, मेरी भक्ति करता है, वो सबसे उत्तम योगी है। यानी भगवान बता रहे हैं बहुत सारे योगी हैं, उनको फल मिलेंगे, लेकिन भगवान की नजर से उनका जो ओपिनियन है ये है कि मैं उत्तम योगी कौन रहेगा? भक्ति योगी उत्तम योगी रहेगा। विद दिस ओपनिंग, नाउ आई विल स्विच ओवर टू दी सेमिनार for which I am invited. First of all, I am thankful to the Ahmedabad branch for providing me this opportunity to share my views on the subject called concept of limited scrutiny and the present ordinance recently due to COVID that government had come out. I hope all are able to see my screen. Sunil bhai? All are able to my screen? See my screen? Now let us start with the first part, concept of limited scrutiny. In this concept of limited scrutiny, we are going to discuss this concept in two parts. First part, we will deal with the various instructions of severity. Various instructions of severity, we need to understand them meticulously. Then second part, I will discuss recent ITAT judgments, including the judgment of Ahmedabad ITAT, where I appeared, and this is the first judgment in my understanding on concept of limited scrutiny of Ahmedabad ITAT for the Gujarat region, so that we can take maximum advantage of the same. That also I am going to discuss in detail. So we are starting with the first part, various instruction of severity. I request that look at the various instructions in detail along with on the screen. The first instruction in 2010, it was given by the severity 8 September 2010. Now, before I read that instruction, there was a concept of limited scrutiny long back under the act itself. I think it was in 2001. It was inbuilt section 143 subsection 2 clause 1 and clause 2. It was talking about the concept of limited scrutiny and complete scrutiny. Over a period, that law has been modified, and 143(2) presently the section relevant for scrutiny. This section does not talk about a concept of limited scrutiny and complete scrutiny. It only talks about scrutiny notice, that's all. And we know that it has to be served at least within the 6 months from the end of the financial in which return has been filed. But the concept of limited scrutiny has been made available to us by way of various severity instructions, and I insist every member to look at all the instructions starting from 2010 ending with 2019, because these instructions over a period, severity had changed its tone over a period in all these instructions, and we need to correlate these instructions with our respective cases wherever it is pending at CIT appeal level or ITAT level. I am confident that after arranging this seminar, and I have also arranged this seminar for all Gujarat Federation of Tax Consultants, I am confident that in entire Gujarat, we will be able to solve around 1500 cases minimum. That is of my understanding. We can get the favorable view from the CIT appeal or ITAT very easily after learning this session. So now let us look at the first instruction. The first instruction talks about para number 2. I am reading it. It says it has been decided that scrutiny of such cases, whenever it is limited, it should be limited only to the aspects of information received through EIR. So what it says that earlier the case was selected for limited scrutiny based on information under annual information return. So this instruction gives an assurance that cases will be, whenever heard during the scrutiny in those time, then they will limit themselves, AO will limit themselves for the aspects of information received through EIR. फिर उन्होंने आगे लिखा था, I'll try to be in Hindi as well. The case may be taken up for a wider scrutiny. That means if AO wants for a wider scrutiny, then he can definitely go for with the approval of administrative commissioner. Where it is felt that, I am just making the color of that, it is felt that apart from EIR, there is an information with the officer that there is a potential escapement of the income more than ₹10 lakh. So this instruction says that अगर EIR के आधार पे आपका limited scrutiny select हुआ है, तो EIR के अलावा normally वो scrutiny का scope widen नहीं करेंगे. Exception एक ही दिया गया है, अगर उनके पास कोई information है और वो information potential escapement more than 10 lakh बता रही है, ऐसा AO का feeling है. You see the word is used felt. तो उनको AO को एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव कमिश्नर की अप्रूवल लेकर वो स्कोप बढ़ा सकता है. Unfortunate part of this instruction is number 1, the word is written felt. You see, you feel, I feel, we, everybody feels. But when AO feel, then we all feel bad. I hope you understand. If somebody feel, then we feel bad. If AO feels something about this potential escapement as a practicing member and as a well-wisher of our clients, we may not feel good. So this is something, a very strange word written under this instruction, that when it is felt, I don't understand what is the meaning of word felt. And another word used is potential escapement. Unfortunately, potential escapement has not been defined. So this is the limitation of this instruction, but this gives a wider power to the AO. अगर AO को ऐसा feel हो रहा है कि potential escapement है कुछ information के आधार पे, तो अपने boss से जाकर permission ले सकता है. अब हम दूसरी इंस्ट्रक्शन देखने जा रहे हैं. दैट इंस्ट्रक्शन इज इंस्ट्रक्शन नंबर 7 2014. हर इंस्ट्रक्शन में कुछ अलग अलग पॉइंट कवर किए गए हैं और मॉडिफाई होती जा रही हैं. आई रिक्वेस्ट मेंबर टू पे अटेंशन टू एवरी इंस्ट्रक्शन. आई विल समराइज एट द एंड. नाउ पे अटेंशन. ये इंस्ट्रक्शन है 2014 की. अब मैंने आपको 2010 की इंस्ट्रक्शन में अभी बताया, unfortunate part is wider power is given to the assessing officer. Wider power, that if he feels, then that means we are no more. He can widen the scrutiny, and just he has to take a permission of administrative commissioner. And it is often found that administrative commissioner gives permission mechanically. So let us look at what these 2014 instruction speaks about. It has come to the notice of the board that during scrutiny assessment proceedings, some AO are routinely calling for the information which is not relevant. तो अभी हमने पढ़ा 2010 में कि they have to restrict their scope for the issues, AIR issues only. उसके अलावा उनको कोई सवाल नहीं करने हैं. They have to limit their scope up to that. फिर भी बोर्ड के ध्यान में क्या आया है? बोर्ड खुद एडमिट कर रहा है कि our AO are routinely calling for all the information which are not relevant, and this is causing undue harassment to the taxpayers and also drawn adverse criticism from several quarters. तो यहाँ बोर्ड खुद एडमिट कर रहा है कि हमारे AO ठीक से काम नहीं कर रहे हैं and they are causing undue harassment to the taxpayers. Let us move further. इसलिए नाखुश होकर सीबीडीटी ने जितनी भी पुरानी इसको लेकर इंस्ट्रक्शंस और गाइडलाइन थी उसको सुपरसीड कर लिया. ऐसे 2007 में भी एक गाइडलाइन है. तो in supersession of earlier instruction guideline, they are now directing that cases selected for scrutiny during financial year 14-15 under CAS on the basis of EIR data or CIB information or non-reconciliation with 26 AS data. Now they are telling scope of inquiry should be limited to the verification of these particular aspect only. तो यहाँ सिविलिटी बता रही है कि अगर कास्ट का AIR का रीजन हो या CIB इंफॉर्मेशन हो या नॉन रिकंसिलिएशन में 26 AS हो, कोई भी वजह हो, scope of inquiry should be limited to the verification of those particular aspect only. And therefore, in this case, you should confine the questionnaire and subsequent inquiry or verification only to those specific points on the basis of which particular return has been selected for scrutiny. So CBDT is warning you that AO should confine even questioner. We know that once notice for scrutiny has been issued or rather served under 142, we all receive questionnaire under section 142 subsection 1 of the act. Then what this instruction says, whenever AO issues notice under 142 subsection 1, then he should confine his questionnaire only for 26 AS data reconciliation or AIR data or CIB information for which case has been selected for scrutiny. आगे देखते हैं थर्ड पॉइंट क्या कहता है. Reason for selection should be displayed to the AO in their AST application, means their online platform, and after generation from AST, they have directed to issue this reason to the taxpayer with a remark that your case has been selected under CAS. तो इंस्ट्रक्शन आगे ये कह रही है कि रीजन क्या है, क्यों आपका केस लिमिटेड स्क्रूटिनी में चुना गया है, कौन से मुद्दे को लेकर चुना गया है, वो रीजन एओ को दिखाई देंगे और एओ 2014 की बात चल रही है, एओ को ये रीजन कम्युनिकेट करने हैं टैक्स पेयर को. फिर वही दोहराया उन्होंने कि 142(1) में उनको वही क्वेश्चनर में डालना है जिस इश्यू को लेकर एग्जामिनेशन करना है. तो 142(1) की बात कर रहे हैं. बट नाउ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट आई वुड लाइक टू हाईलाइट, in such cases all effort would be made to ensure that assessment proceedings should be completed expeditiously in minimum possible number of hearings without unnecessarily dragging the case till the time barring date. This is very important. This I pleaded before the Ahmedabad ITT recently and I got the favor. What it says कि जब भी लिमिटेड स्क्रूटिनी कास्ट में कुछ मुद्दों को लेकर ही अगर आपका केस सिलेक्ट हुआ है तो असेसिंग ऑफिसर को ध्यान रखना है कि ये स्क्रूटिनी इमीडिएटली एक्सपीडियसली एज अर्ली एज पॉसिबल मिनिमम नंबर ऑफ हियरिंग में खत्म करना है, उसको ड्रैग नहीं करना है टाइम बारिंग डेट तक. लेकिन हम प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ में देखते हैं कि लिमिटेड स्क्रूटिनी वाले केस भी उन्होंने ड्रैग किए हैं टाइम बारिंग तक. तो दिस पॉइंट आल्सो यू कैन रेज इन दी अपील दैट आल्सो आई हैव रेज्ड बिफोर द ऑनरेबल अहमदाबाद ITT. लेट अस गो फर्दर. यहाँ थोड़ा फर्क है. हमने 10 की इंस्ट्रक्शन देखी थी, वहां पोटेंशियल एस्केपमेंट की बात कर रहे हैं लेकिन फेल्ट है. अब यहां क्या लिख रहे हैं ध्यान से पढ़ें. अगर वो वाइडन करना चाहते हैं तो ड्यूरिंग द कोर्स ऑफ असेसमेंट प्रोसीडिंग इट इज फाउंड दैट देयर इज पोटेंशियल एस्केपमेंट ऑफ इनकम exceeding 10 lakh and they have clarified for non-metro cities monetary limit is 5 lakh, for metro it is 10 lakh. On any issue apart from AIR, CIB or 26 AS, then this case may be taken up for a comprehensive scrutiny with an approval of principal CIT or DIT concerned. However, such approval shall be accorded by the principal CIT or DIT in writing after being satisfied about the merits of the issues necessitating wider and detailed scrutiny in the case. And once case is taken up for detailed scrutiny, it shall be monitored by the range head, joint commissioner or additional commissioner concerned. तो अभी ये क्या बता रहा है, पैरा नंबर 4 ऑफ 2014 इंस्ट्रक्शन, कि अगर उनको पोटेंशियल एस्केपमेंट लगता है तो व्हाट इज द ड्यूटी ऑफ एओ? ड्यूटी ऑफ एओ इज टू कीप दिस बिफोर होम प्रिंसिपल CIT और DIT फॉर हिज अप्रूवल. और यहाँ अप्रूवल कैसे देना है उसका तरीका बताया है कि वो अप्रूवल अब ध्यान से देखे राइटिंग में देना है और ही शुड बी सेटिस्फाइड अबाउट द मेरिट्स ऑफ द इश्यू कि दिस रियली नेसेसिएट वाइडनिंग द स्कोप फ्रॉम सिलेक्टेड टू व्हाट डिटेल स्क्रूटिनी. तो यहाँ CIT प्रिंसिपल CIT और DIT का रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बढ़ा दिया ये इंस्ट्रक्शन ने कि उनको राइटिंग में देना है और उनको संतुष्टि लेनी है कि सही में ये केस नेसेसिएट करता है वाइडर और डिटेल स्क्रूटिनी के लिए. तो ये अद्भुत गाइडलाइन है. अगर ये वायोलेशन हुआ है तो डेफिनेटली यू कैन चैलेंज टेक्निकली बिफोर CIT अपील और बिफोर ट्रिब्यूनल और हाई कोर्ट वेयरएवर योर मैटर इज पेंडिंग. लेट अस मूव 2015 इंस्ट्रक्शन, that is number 20 2015. Again repeatedly I am requesting all members listening patiently that every instruction you should look into. जो हमने 2014 की इंस्ट्रक्शन पढ़ी थी वो कास्ट साइकिल 2014-15 की बात बता रही थी. इफ यू लुक एट It is talking about what? 2014-15. अब हम पढ़ रहे हैं इंस्ट्रक्शन नंबर 15. थोड़ा ध्यान से देखें. ये कहता है इंस्ट्रक्शन that in earlier instruction of 2014 has already clarified the extent of inquiry in a certain cases when they are selected through CAS. ठीक है. Now they have said that these instructions 14 is applicable for CAS cycle 2014 cases selected during CAS cycle 2014. फिर अब हम देखने जा रहे हैं CAS cycle 15 para 3 of these guideline. Kindly pay attention. As far as the returns selected for scrutiny through CAS are concerned, CAS 15 are concerned, two types of cases have been selected for scrutiny. One is limited and another is complete. So this is first time in CAS cycle 15 they have come out with a word limited and complete, and that's why they have said that SSC concerned should be duly intimated about their cases falling either under limited or complete scrutiny. This is 2015 notice. We have been notified कि आपका केस लिमिटेड में है या कंप्लीट स्क्रूटिनी के अंतर्गत चुना गया है. अब ध्यान से पढ़ें. गाइडलाइन में कुछ बदलाव हैं 2014 के कंपैरिजन में. प्रोसीजर फॉर हैंडलिंग लिमिटेड स्क्रूटिनी नाउ वुड बी एज अंडर. पहला पॉइंट वही है कि एसएससी शुड बी कम्युनिकेटेड. आई एम नॉट. दूसरा पॉइंट वही है कि 142(1) की आपकी क्वेश्चनरी है, उसी मुद्दों को लेकर लिमिट करनी है जिसकी वजह से आपका केस लिमिटेड स्क्रूटिनी में चुना गया है. तीसरी वही रिपीटेशन है कि एक्सपीडियसली खत्म करना है इन लिमिटेड नंबर ऑफ हियरिंग. फोर्थ वही बता रहा है 5 लाख वाला और 10 लाख वाला पोटेंशियल एस्केपमेंट है, अप्रूवल लेनी है प्रिंसिपल CIT DIT. लेकिन फर्क क्या है इस इंस्ट्रक्शन में? यहां मेट्रो सिटी का डेफिनेशन दिया गया है, उतना फर्क है. मुंबई, चेन्नई, कोलकाता, बेंगलुरु, हैदराबाद और हमारा अहमदाबाद इसमें कवर है. तो दिल्ली, मुंबई, चेन्नई, कोलकाता, बेंगलुरु, अहमदाबाद एंड हैदराबाद. So this is guideline is similar almost. There is no change like 2014 except one change, and one change is that they have clarified which is metro and what is definitely non-metro. Means those who are not falling within metro, they are called what? Non-metro. Now let us move to instruction number 5 2016. I request member to pay attention on 14 July 2016 instruction. Very important instruction, because this instruction is relevant for the cases selected even under Notebandi as well. Let us read that. They are again giving reference of old instruction of 2015 dated 29th December 2015. They said that old instruction was relevant for CAS cycle 2015. Now pay attention, para number 2. In order to ensure that maximum objectivity is maintained in converting case from limited into a complete, तो अब वो बहुत चिंतित हैं लिमिटेड से कंप्लीट को लेकर और बोल रहे हैं कि हम मैक्सिमम ऑब्जेक्टिविटी इंट्रोड्यूस करना चाहते हैं. व्हाट नाउ दे आर टेलिंग, लेट अस रीड. मैटर हैज बीन फर्दर एग्जामिन्ड एंड वी आर पार्शियली मॉडिफाइंग अर्लियर इंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ 2015 and we are now proposing to take up complete scrutiny in a case which was originally earmarked for a limited. Then AO shall be required to form, the word used is reasonable view. अब potential escapement word नहीं है, सब लोग ध्यान दें. क्या word लिखा गया है? Reasonable view that there is a possibility of under assessment of income if case is not examined under complete scrutiny. तो AO को यहाँ reasonable view form करना है कि there is a possibility of under assessment of income if case is not selected for a complete scrutiny. और यहाँ monetary limit उन्होंने वही पुरानी वाली it will continue to remain applicable, यानी वही 5 लाख 10 लाख वाली कंटिन्यू की है. अब ध्यान से देखें, वर्ड है reasonable view. सबसे विनती है मेरी, पैरा 3 उसको ध्यान से पढ़े और इसको जहां जरूरत पड़े आप उसको आर्ग्यूमेंट में incorporate कर सकते हैं before first appeal or before ITAT. While forming this reasonable view, AO should ensure that there exists credible material or information on record for forming that view. Number 2, this reasonable view should not be based on suspicion, conjecture, unreliable sources, and that means these are cumulative conditions. Mind well, there must be a direct nexus between the available material and the formation of such view. So be careful. What it speaks about, it says AO must have credible information. That means information should not be vague information. It should be credible information on record, Second, based on that, a person of reasonable capacity and reasonable level, accordingly, he should form his belief or he should form his view. It should not be based on suspicion, conjecture. And last, there should be a live link. That means direct nexus between the material on record and formation of view. I hope those who are practicing at LAPET level, they can understand it is similar to the requirement of section 147 of the Act. That means if you would like to widen the scope of scrutiny from limited to complete, then while forming this view, he has to follow almost similar and akin principles as enumerated for the purpose of invoking jurisdiction under section 147 of the Act. So accordingly, we can take advantage of all judicial precedents relevant for section 147, more particularly about forming belief. Now let us move further. Only upon conversion of this case to complete scrutiny and after following the procedure outline, AO should examine additional issues beside the issues involved in limited scrutiny. And there is a requirement, AO should intimate taxpayer about conducting complete scrutiny. So they said that once he receives the permission from the principal CIT or DIT, only then after, उसको क्या करना है, बाकी इश्यू को लेकर मुझे क्वेश्चनर भेजना है, और before sending questionnaire, he should mention or he should intimate to me that now my case has been converted into complete scrutiny. और पांचवा पॉइंट थोड़ा टेंशन वाला है, एक बार case has been converted to complete scrutiny, then it says AO can deal with any issues from ongoing scrutiny, irrespective of the fact. जैसे हमारे 147 में है कि if he had formed a belief for a particular issue, then he can still take another income if it comes to the notice of AO during the course of assessment proceeding, then he can add other income as well. Accordingly, यहाँ भी लिखा है कि एक बार AO ने scope widen कर दिया, तो AO can deal with any issues without any limit on his power. अब महत्वपूर्ण ये है, बहुत ध्यान दें, ये CAS 15 को भी applicable होगा. Even though it was introduced in 2016, the instruction was issued in 2016, I'm sorry, it is applicable to the cases of CAS 15 and CAS 16. इसका मतलब कि मैंने जो ऊपर गाइडलाइन बताई, फॉर्मिंग रीजनेबल व्यू, ये कंडीशन CAS 15 वाले को भी एप्लीकेबल होगी. तो अगर आपका केस CAS 15 का भी है, then definitely you can take benefit of this guideline. अब हम आगे चल रहे हैं, एक और इंस्ट्रक्शन 2016 की, सॉरी ये लेटर है सीबीडीटी का. आई एम नॉट गोइंग इन डिटेल, इट इज ए रीइटरेशन ऑफ एवरीथिंग, एक्सेप्ट कि उन्होंने 3 फॉर्मेट दिए कि आपका केस लिमिटेड स्क्रूटिनी है तो क्या फॉर्मेट रहेगा. कुछ तरह आपको 142 की नोटिस दी जाएगी. अगर आपका केस कंप्लीट स्क्रूटिनी का है तो उसका एनेक्चर बी फॉर्मेट है. और अगर मैन्युअली सिलेक्ट किया, बिकॉज वी नो दैट सर्टेन क्राइटेरिया आर फिक्स फॉर सिलेक्शन ऑफ केस अंडर स्क्रूटिनी मैन्युअली ऑन द रिकमेंडेशन ऑफ जुरिस्डिक्शनल असेसिंग ऑफिसर, तो सबके उन्होंने अलग अलग फॉर्मेट 2016 के लेटर में दिया. आई एम नॉट going through all the formats because we have all received all these kind of notices. Now I am going towards instruction number. Sorry, before I go to the instruction number 17, I would like to discuss this letter of 30th November 2017. Pay attention. This is very, very important letter. This helped me a lot before Ahmedabad ITAT in a recent case. What it says, despite of 2010, 2014, 2015, 2016 instructions, despite of this, what assessing officers are doing, that is the note taken by CBDT, unauthorized expansion of the scope of limited scrutiny. So CBDT says, despite of this notice, instructions and guidelines, still our officers are traveling beyond the issues for which case are selected. AO in limited scrutiny cases normally cannot travel, but they are traveling. The idea behind those stipulations, court says, CBDT says, to enforce checks and balances upon the power of AO, and बहुत महत्वपूर्ण वर्ड है, to prohibit AO to conduct fishing and rowing inquiry in a case selected from limited scrutiny. So in preamble of this letter, what CBDT says, we have already issued guidelines and instructions. These guidelines postulate that AO cannot travel beyond the issues for which case was selected under limited scrutiny, and the idea is to enforce check and balance on the power of AO so that AO's power can be put to down and not allowing him to do. Two words are used: fishing and rowing inquiry. Now let me elaborate this first. What is called fishing and what is called rowing? Let us take it that in your limited scrutiny, one of the point is that there is a mismatch in your interest income and 26 AS. Now there is a possibility that our professional brother or the tax consultant, while recording interest in the books of accounts, he had prepared one single account, common account, recording both income as well as expense. So definitely expense get net off against income, so that net income reflected is very low as compared to the income reflected in 26 AS. Now AO had selected my case for limited scrutiny. Now AO called for the clarification why there is a mismatch. What I will do, I will hand over to assessing officer the copy of my interest account, which is covering both debit and credit. And I will highlight that, look at my credit side, that credit side getting matched with the income reported in 26 AS. Now matter ends. But still, what now AO do? AO, after receiving this interest account, he will look at debit side, and in next questionnaire under 142.1, he is asking me that to whom you have given interest. These are the parties. Now he started doing which inquiry? Fishing inquiry. Tell me what is the rate of interest. So he is now, what he's doing, he started doing, he's going into deep of the issue. Fishing means you understand fishing activity. So going deep. So now he's going deep. Now he's asking, first of all, he started rowing inquiry. To whom you have paid interest? Now, are they their related party? So now he started making rowing inquiry. Rowing means to row around the issue of interest expense, which is not permissible. He has to look at only interest income. Now he started depending inquiry. Number one, ये related party है कि नहीं? Related party है तो number two, आपने unrelated को कितने rate से interest चुकाया और related को कितने rate से interest चुकाया? Number three, have you used this fund for the purpose of business so as to meet the requirement of section 36 subsection 1 clause number 3? Otherwise that interest will be disallowed for the want of business expediency. So here be careful, this is prohibited. CBDT खुद लिख रही है कि हमने इसीलिए तो ये इंस्ट्रक्शन दी थी, so that AO should not conduct fishing and rowing inquiry. लेकिन दुख के साथ CBDT ने बताया पैराग्राफ नंबर 3 में, ध्यान से पढ़ें, और ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण लेटर है. Instances have come to the notice of CBDT that our assessing officers are traveling beyond their jurisdiction while making assessment limited scrutiny by initiating inquiry on new issues without complying with the requirement of various instruction of 14, 15 and 16 that we have looked into. और ये instances CBDT लिख रही है, we have viewed these very seriously, and in one case, ध्यान से पढ़ें, in one case our central inspection team of CBDT was tasked with the examination of assessment record on receipt of allegation of several irregularities, and among other irregularities it was found that no reason had been recorded. ध्यान दें, it is similar to 147. AO has to record the reason. No reason has been recorded for expanding the scope. Even no approval has been obtained. So 147 में भी PCIT की approval है beyond 4 years. So similar approval has not been obtained, and therefore these give rise to a very strong suspicion of mala-fide intention on the part of AO, and court CBDT says officer concern has been placed under suspension. तो CBDT ने बोला कि हमने इन्वेस्टिगेशन के बाद उस ऑफिसर को सस्पेंशन में भी रख दिया और हम रखेंगे भी आगे. So this is very, very important letter that one should look into. Next instruction, 2018, November 2018. Now it is dealing with cash cycle 2017 and 18. Pay attention. So we have already reached up to cash 2016. This is 17-18. In that, assessing officers have made representation. But obvious है, जब CBDT ने उनके पर वार किया कि आप गलत कर रहे हैं, you will be liable for suspension, तो अब उन्होंने उल्टा वार किया, बोर्ड के ऊपर दबाव डाला. And they have given a representation from the field authority that in several cases under limited scrutiny, information pointing out specific tax evasion for relevant year information is coming from law enforcement, intelligence department, regulatory authority department or other agency, and this information is available with the assessing officer. But because you have restricted the inquiry investigation under limited, we cannot act upon it. तो उन्होंने रिप्रेजेंटेशन किया सिबिलिटी से कि हमारे पास इंटेलिजेंस की इंफॉर्मेशन है, लॉ एनफोर्समेंट की इंफॉर्मेशन है, रेगुलेटरी अथॉरिटी लाइक आरओसी से भी उनके पास से हमारे पास इंफॉर्मेशन है कि देयर इज एन एस्केपमेंट ऑफ इनकम, बट बिकॉज ऑफ लिमिटेड स्क्रूटिनी अवर हैंड्स आर बाउंड. अब सिबिलिटी ने क्या लिखा, ध्यान से पढ़ें. Matter has been considered by the board in order to enable proper inquiry and investigation in pending limited scrutiny cases which were selected through CAST cycle 2017 and 18, where the word again used credible material has been provided by law enforcement, intelligence or regulatory authority or other agency regarding tax evasion by the SSC, then तो information पहले credible होनी चाहिए और tax evasion related होनी चाहिए. Then it has been decided by the board that issue arising from such information can also be examined during the course of assessment proceeding in a limited scrutiny, but condition is same with a prior administrative approval of principal CIT or CIT. और थोड़ा ध्यान दें, प्रोसीजर क्या बताई है. AO shall duly record the reason for expanding the scope. What is the procedure? जब you would like to look into additional issue. Second, same shall be placed before principal CIT or CIT concerned, and upon his approval, further issue can be considered. AO shall intimate to the SSC concerned on additional issue. And very important is to ensure proper monitoring. They said the provision of section 144A, that means Ranjit should look into the matter. Then further, to prevent fishing and roving inquiry, it is desirable that cases are invariably picked up for review by the administrative authority. So even their higher task is given for the review. Therefore, this gives a strong benefit. If somebody would like to go for 264, then it is the duty of the administrative authority to review the case. That is what my knowledge on the subject that I would like to guide all the professional brothers. And very important, serial number 6 is very important. Pay attention. CAST 17-18 में उन्होंने क्या लिखा है? It is reiterated that grounds mentioned in para 3 are the only ground on which limited scrutiny can be expanded, and that too only to the extent of the issues referred to by enforcement, intelligence, regulatory authority or agency. तो यहाँ क्या कहना चाहता है? जैसे हमने 2016 की इंस्ट्रक्शन में क्या पढ़ा, एक बार अप्रूवल मिल गई तो ही कैन लुक इनटू एनी इश्यूज. अब यहाँ क्या बता रहे हैं, कास्ट 17 और 18 को लेकर कि जो इंफॉर्मेशन आई है लॉ एनफोर्समेंट, इंटेलिजेंस, रेगुलेटरी अथॉरिटी से, बस उसको लेकर अगर उसको अप्रूवल मिला है तो लिमिटेड स्क्रूटिनी के जो पॉइंट है वो प्लस जो इंफॉर्मेशन है उसके आधार पे ही वो इंक्वायरी कर सकता है. ही कैन नॉट हैव ए कंप्लीट जुरिस्डिक्शन ओवर द केस. अगेन ही विल हैव ए limited but slightly higher only to the extent of information received from enforcement, intelligence, regulatory authority. और ऐसा ही इंस्ट्रक्शन 2019 का है. Pay attention. Similar instruction para 3, sorry, para 2. Para 2 deals with CAST cycle 2019. Now pay attention. They have given similar instruction and they said you follow 2018 instruction, and clearly written that AO shall not expand the scope on which case was flagged for limited scrutiny. So they said that same 2018 and prior approval of principal CIT is required to be obtained. And they said he can go further for information received from the aforementioned agency only. That means he cannot go for unlimited or a complete scrutiny. Under a limited scrutiny, even if principal CIT had given a permission, what he should look into, he should see limited aspect plus जो agency से information आई है उसको लेकर जो approval मिली है, only on those issues he can. I am reading that once again. AO shall not expand the scope. I am reading this part. AO shall not expand the scope of inquiry beyond the issues for which limited scrutiny case has been selected and the issues arising from the information received from the aforementioned agency provided approval has been received. तो मैं इसको समराइज कर रहा हूँ. 2010 की इंस्ट्रक्शन giving wider power to the AO. If it is felt, हमने जो देखा, it is felt, or potential escapement. 2014 में उन्होंने सारी इंस्ट्रक्शन सुपरसीड कर ली. 14-15 में एक मत बताया कि what AO can do. AO can definitely go for a higher range with a, he can go for a complete scrutiny with the approval of higher authority. और वहां उन्होंने मेट्रो नॉन मेट्रो की लिमिट बताई 10 लाख और 5 लाख. 2016 की इंस्ट्रक्शन थी वो बहुत महत्वपूर्ण थी. It is similar to section 147. The AO should not simply go with simple information. AO has to form a clear view that there is an underassessment, possibility of underassessment if case has not been further widened for a scrutiny. And for that purpose, he has to keep the record and the information in his satisfaction before the principal CIT, and principal CIT in writing, after being satisfied that it is a fit case, then he will allow for the expansion. फिर 17 का हमने लेटर पढ़ा जो स्कोल्डिंग किया गया है, नॉट अलाउड फिशिंग एंड रोइंग इंक्वायरी. और 18 और 19 की इंस्ट्रक्शन और बहुत हमारे फेवरेबल है कि अगर कोई इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसी से या कोई टैक्स इवेजन एजेंसी से या लॉ एनफोर्समेंट डिपार्टमेंट से कोई इंफॉर्मेशन मिली है, उसकी वजह से अगर उसको एक्सपांड करना है तो he has to again record the satisfaction, he has to place this satisfaction before the principal CIT, he has to seek the approval, or only after obtaining approval he can widen, but only widen up to what? Those issues for which approval has been given by whom? Principal CIT. So this is very, very beneficial instruction. Now let us look at the part 2. Part 2, important judicial precedents on the scope of limited scrutiny. I'm going to share all the judgments, important judgments for the fraternity at large, and I want that in entire Gujarat, if case has been, scope has been widened without taking permission of the principal CIT or without following the procedure laid down under various instructions from time to time, then ground must be raised. If your appeal is pending before CIT appeal, and if it's pending before ITAT, then you must raise this ground by an additional ground and take the advantage of recent judgment of Ahmedabad ITAT in case of Narendra Patel, where I was, by the God's blessing, I was lucky enough to appear before the Ahmedabad ITAT and to obtain that judgment in our favor. So I will start with the certain wonderful judgment, which will definitely be of a practical use, where you can correlate your case with these few cases which I have selected for discussion in second part. All are ready? You need to be very meticulous when you are listening me, because I read line to line and I want that members should learn how to read word to word and how to find the interpretation in between the words and in between the lines. So now let me bring you to the first judgment of Gurpreet Kaur versus ITO Amritsar bench. Look at the issue was selected for limited scrutiny. And there was a cash deposit. The reason for limited scrutiny was a cash deposit of 25 lakh in some account maintained with Oriental Bank of Commerce. But what assessing officer had done, with due respect of our learned assessing officer, he had done parakram, that is what the word I use it, or we can say he has done bahaduri. Parakram, he had made an addition of 3 lakh in respect of some bahana where he forfeited. It is, he might have entered into some agreement and he would have received 3 lakh in cash for selling the property, and somehow the matter didn't went further and that 3 lakh got forfeited, and these 3 lakh were also deposited as a part of 25 lakh. So what assessing officer had done, he had made an addition of 3 lakh of this bahana, and apart from that, assessing officer denied the exemption under section 54. And all this parakram learned assessing officer had done without obtaining permission of principal CIT or DIT. Now, interestingly, detailed observation, honorable ITT, those who are meticulous to love to read, they can read para 19 to 28 of the honorable ITT. I am not repeating all this, but honorable ITT says that assessing officer had done this parakram without taking approval from whom? Administrative commissioner. And that's why honorable ITT had given a finding that this bench has accepted the contention of SSC that AO could not have gone beyond the specific severity instruction, and therefore nothing else remain ripe for adjudication, and therefore all other grounds now become academic. In short, on technical ground, ऑनरेबल ITAT ने SSC को फेवर दे दिया that entire assessment order is null and void, and so that whatever additions are done on merit we are not discussing. These grounds are now only an academic ground, they become infructuous ground. तो यहाँ मैंने कुछ कमेंट इसके बताए नीचे आपको बताई है. यहाँ क्या हुआ, कैश डिपॉजिट को लेकर एसएससी ने सबमिशंस दिए. क्या सबमिशन दिया कि भाई ये 3 लाख रुपए मैंने बाना मिला था मुझे और वो एग्रीमेंट कैंसिल हो गया तो मैंने ये जब्त कर लिया बाना एज पर टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन. तो वो बाना खत को पढ़कर एओ ने एडिशन किया. दैट मींस व्हाट एओ हैड डन, एओ हैड ट्राइड टू डू फिशिंग एंड रोविंग इंक्वायरी. आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंड. ही हैड ट्राइड टू डू रोविंग एंड फिशिंग इंक्वायरी. तो दिस इज द कमेंट कि एओ इज नॉट परमिटेड टू वाइडन द स्कोप ऑफ स्क्रूटिनी based on documents filed by the SSC during the course of assessment proceeding without taking approval. तो हम जो डॉक्यूमेंट फाइल करेंगे उसके ऊपर वो वाइडन नहीं कर सकता है उसमें से बेनिफिट उठाकर. क्लियर? Second judgment, I am slightly be faster on that. I am not going to read in detail because we need to take second part of the session as well. Yukti Tiwari, one of the wonderful judgment of Lucknow bench. Yukti Tiwari के केस में she had deposited some cash deposit. And I'll tell you the amount was 80,000. She had deposited cash during demonetization period. I request all the members to make it very, very important. My dear friend CA Palak Pawagati yesterday had taken up this issue at length for the fraternity benefit. In that, I request that you should look into, apart from what Palak sir has discussed, you should look into that if your case has been selected for limited, it is being often found, and AO had made an addition for the entire year cash. Now, what the job is done by AO in this case? AO had made an entire cash receipt of 7,500,000 under section 69A. उसने केस खोला था किसके लिए? लिमिटेड स्क्रूटिनी में 80,000 रुपए जो डीमोनेटाइजेशन के दौरान जमा करवाई, वो किस वजह से जमा करवाई, तो इसका सोर्स क्या है? Only for that purpose he had selected case for limited scrutiny. But what happened? SSC had given a submission. In this case, the council had given a submission, Yukti Tiwari, that she is having tuition income. It is often we declare tuition income as a tax practitioner. So Yukti Tiwari had disclosed tuition income of 7,500,000, and out of 7,500,000 she had debited few expenditure, and net income she had declared around 6,50,000. Out of this surplus, council had replied to the assessing officer that 80,000 has been deposited during demonetization period. So here the source was explained that we have filed the return. You look at my receipt of 7 lakh. Out of 7 lakh, these 80,000 has been deposited. What assessing officer had done on receipt of this answer, my friends should listen carefully. What AO had done, AO was so intelligent. What he had done, immediately he deputed inspector और युक्ति तिवारी के घर पे इंस्पेक्टर को भेज दिया. अब युक्ति तिवारी घर पे थी, उनको पूछा कि आप कौन से ट्यूशन करती है, तो शी वाज स्लाइटली डिस्टर्ब बिकॉज ऑफ आईटी. इंस्पेक्टर वाज देयर. शी सेड कि भाई मैं तो कोई ट्यूशन इनकम नहीं कर रही हूँ, मेरा तो कोई ऐसा कोई एक्टिविटी नहीं है. तो युक्ति तिवारी वाज नॉट अवेयर कि हर फादर इज रिपोर्टिंग इनकम एज अ ट्यूशन इनकम and her father is filing return. Now they were caught by the inspector and statement was recorded of Yukti Tiwari, and Yukti Tiwari admitted in the statement that she does not have this kind of tuition activity. Try to understand. Now, interestingly, AO got annoyed on report of inspector, and what he did, without taking permission, he had made an addition of entire gross receipt of 7 lakh. Under which section? 69A. What ITAT had done? ITAT had said that purpose of the examination was to examine the deposit during demonetization period, and therefore any addition on account of demonetization in the bank can only be made during assessment year 17-18. In short, ITAT कह रही है कि limited scrutiny है तो AO can make addition only of 80,000. He cannot make any addition beyond that. Again, ITAT reiterating in its finding that only purpose for selection of case was to examination of cash deposit, but AO expanded to the other issues, and that too without obtaining necessary sanction, and therefore the action is highly unjustified. So यहाँ ITAT क्या कह रही है कि AO even cannot look into my nature of activity. He cannot call into question my source or the nature of activity even without taking prior administrative approval. So again, AO is not permitted to make roving and fishing query. Here AO had done both without taking permission. बहुत महत्वपूर्ण केस है हमारे, जहां जहां भी ये कैश डिपॉजिट के मामले हैं और लिमिटेड स्क्रूटिनी है, जरूर इसका फायदा उठाएं. Srinidhi Mines, wonderful judgment of Bangalore bench. Here the case was selected for related party mismatch and some other expenses claimed in P&L account. ध्यान दें, जब यहां मैं अदर एक्सपेंस वर्ड पढ़ रहा हूं, तो जब हम ITR फाइल करते हैं तो हमारे जो P&L में जितने भी एक्सपेंसेस हैं उसको हम मैप करते हैं ITR के साथ, और फिर बाद में कोई अगर एग्जैक्ट मैपिंग नहीं हो रहा है पर्टिकुलर हेड का, तब हम उसको जाकर ITR में एक कॉलम में दिखाते हैं अदर एक्सपेंस में. तो ये अदर एक्सपेंस जो ITR का कॉलम है उतना एओ को चेक करना था, और इसके अलावा कोई ऑडिटर और ITR के अंदर ऑडिट रिपोर्ट में और कुछ रिलेटेड पार्टी के जो पेमेंट की इंफॉर्मेशन की उसमें कुछ मिसमैच होगा, तो उसको लेकर ये केस लिमिटेड स्क्रूटिनी में चुना गया था श्रीनिधि माइंस का. लेकिन हमारे असेसिंग ऑफिसर ने क्या पराक्रम किया, उन्होंने एसएससी की ट्रांसपोर्टेशन ऑफ एक्टिविटी को गलत ठहराया, और उसने ये बताया कि एसएससी की जो ट्रांसपोर्टेशन एक्टिविटी है, इट इज नॉट रियली ए ट्रांसपोर्टेशन बिजनेस, ही इज मियरली लुकिंग ए कमीशन एजेंट, ही इज नॉट इन ए बिजनेस ऑफ हायरिंग एंड लीजिंग गुड्स कैरेजेस. That's why what the job AO had done, AO had not made any addition for related party, AO had not made any addition for other expenses. Unfortunately, AO had restricted depreciation up to 15% as against the claim made by SSC at 30%. I hope you are getting what I'm trying to say, because we know that those who are engaged in hiring, leasing of goods carriages, in that case, they are eligible for double depreciation than what we claim it at 15%. They are eligible for 30%. But AO ने limited scrutiny में without permission SSC की एक्टिविटी पे हमला बोल दिया, और SSC की एक्टिविटी को ट्रांसपोर्टेशन नहीं ठहराकर उसका डेप्रिसिएशन रिस्ट्रिक्ट कर दिया 30 से 15%. ITAT again said that AO is not justified in taking up examination of depreciation, which is beyond the issue selected for limited scrutiny without obtaining approval. तो यहां ध्यान दें, within same head, try to understand, within same head, even the word is written other expenses, still ITAT had not allowed to look into the depreciation as well as the other expenses of P&L. AO has to look into only that aspect and that point only. So this is a wonderful judgment. So I have written that my comment, ITAT had not permitted to look into entire expenses claimed and debited to P&L in the guise of verification of subject matter of limited scrutiny. Ravi Prakash Khandelwal, Lucknow bench. बहुत interesting judgment है. Now I am not going to read in detail, but I am just highlighting the why it was selected. SSC ने 54B CD claim किया था. इसके अलावा कुछ कैश डिपॉजिट थी सेविंग अकाउंट में, और हमारे एओ ने विदाउट टेकिंग परमिशन 2 एडिशन किए. ध्यान से देखें, एक एडिशन टुवर्ड्स इंडेक्स कॉस्ट ऑफ लैंड एंड सेकंड इज मड फिलिंग इंडेक्स कॉस्ट ऑफ इंप्रूवमेंट. तो ये केस कुछ 1481 के पहले का होगा, तो एसएससी माइट हैव गॉन फॉर द रजिस्टर्ड वैल्यू रिपोर्ट टू क्लेम फेयर मार्केट वैल्यू एज ऑन 1481 एज इज कॉस्ट. तो एओ ने उसको लेकर 17 लाख का एडिशन किया इंडेक्स कॉस्ट को लेकर. इसके अलावा कुछ लैंड बेचा होगा, और लैंड बेचने के पहले हम चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट लोग कभी कभी गाइड करते हैं कि आपने कोई लैंड लेवलिंग करवाया था, हाँ मैंने करवाया था, अब वाउचर ले लो, वी कैन क्लेम ऑल दिस इंप्रूवमेंट. तो दैट मड फिलिंग क्लेम वाज मेड ऑफ 20,19,319 आफ्टर इंडेक्सेशन. एओ ने ये दोनों एडिशन किए, जबकि पर्पस क्या था, सिलेक्शन का पर्पस क्या था, 54B का एग्जम्पशन चेक करना. इसके बजाय उसने कैपिटल गेन के 2 एलिमेंट पकड़ लिए और कैश डिपॉजिट था, और कैश डिपॉजिट का कोई एडिशन नहीं किया. ये जजमेंट मेरी विनती है सब मेंबर डिटेल में पढ़े, खोल के पढ़े. यहाँ पैरा 8 to 12, even I have given entire para what the reasoning given by the ITAT by this, where ITAT has clearly mentioned that all instructions of CBDT are binding to the assessing officer. You cannot travel beyond the instructions of CBDT. So ITAT had taken a due note of section 119 of the Act, and the ratio laid down on section 119 as far as bindingness of the various instruction and orders of the CBDT circular on the assessing officers. So my request is you read in detail, and ITAT concluded, what ITAT concluded, that this kind of addition is a gross violation of severity instruction, and therefore they are liable to be deleted. So what is my comment here? Again, within same head, though case is selected for capital gain, but within same head, he cannot travel beyond. He cannot look into index cost of acquisition. He cannot look into index cost of improvement. एक और है जो मैंने अहमदाबाद आईटीबीटी में रिसेंटली 15-20 दिन पहले का जजमेंट है, 981 Ahmedabad IT 2019 Ahmedabad bench. This I was again said that God's blessing, I was lucky enough to argue in a stay granted matter. Before final argument, I was able to make it before Mahavir Prasad ji, our honorable member of ITAT, and Wasim Ahmed. Let us look at what happened in this case. We all are aware of Mehsana Panchod. Near Mehsana Panchod, there is a D-Mart, and that land was owned by 5 co-owners. One of the co-owner was Mr. Narendra Kumar Ramesh Bhai Patel, and these all 5 co-owners had sold out this land to Super Avenue Mart, who is running the operation of D-Mart. Now they all almost declared as a capital gain. I'm just telling you brief facts of the case. They declared as a capital gain. Now assessing officer selected Narendra Bhai's case for a limited scrutiny, and Narendra Bhai had offered the same as a capital gain, and he had claimed exemption under 54F. Now case was selected for limited scrutiny with this. Look at the para 5 of the honorable ITAT I have placed before you. What is the purpose of limited scrutiny? Sale of property mismatch. तो हमें जानकारी है कि जब भी co-owner बेचते हैं तो जो रजिस्ट्रार जो रिपोर्ट करेगा सेल वैल्यू, वो एंटायर प्रॉपर्टी की करेगा, और को-ओनर अपने हिस्से का ही वो कैपिटल गेन में उतना अमाउंट दिखाएगा. तो देयर वाज अ सेल ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी मिसमैच. तो जो एआईआर में और जो इंफॉर्मेशन दिख रहा था टीडीएस का 26 में, और उसके साथ जो एआईआर में इंफॉर्मेशन थी, उसके वी कैन से स्टेटमेंट ऑफ फाइनेंशियल ट्रांजैक्शन एसएफटी, उसके साथ मिसमैच हो रहा था. और इसकी वजह से उनका ये कहना था कि देयर इज अ मिसमैच इन कैपिटल गेन ऑन सेल ऑफ लैंड और बिल्डिंग. इसके अलावा दे वुड लाइक टू वेरीफाई डिडक्शन क्लेम अंडर हेड कैपिटल गेन. ये डिडक्शन दे वुड लाइक टू एड्रेस 54. और चौथा वो चेक करना चाहते हैं कि क्यों उसकी कैपिटल इतनी बढ़ गई. तो लॉजिकली है कि उनको बहुत बड़ी अमाउंट मिली डी-मार्ट से, तो उसके हिसाब से अकाउंटिंग प्रॉफिट ज्यादा रहेगा एज कंपेयर टू कैपिटल गेन. तो अकाउंटिंग प्रॉफिट हैज रिजल्टेड इनटू व्हाट? इंक्रीज इन कैपिटल. नाउ दिस केस was under my observation. The consultant from Mehsana, he had taken my guidance from the assessment proceeding itself. Other co-owners were not with me, but this Narendra Patel consultant was seeking and obtaining my guidance from the beginning, and that had helped a lot. I have looked into the limited scrutiny. I have said you keep mum and you keep on cooperating. और बाद में इन्होंने क्या किया कि बाकी सारी स्क्रूटनी भी चल रही थी को-ओनर की, साथ साथ नरेंद्र भाई की भी चल रही थी, और यहाँ एओ ने अचानक एक नोटिस दे दिया कि why your transaction would not be termed as adventure in nature of trade. So AO had treated, he had given a show cause कि why your capital gain should not now be converted into business gain, and accordingly your 54 should be withdrawn, and your 20% tax rate of LTCG, that benefit should be withdrawn under section 1 and 2, and you are liable for a normal income under the head business and profession. And accordingly AO, that is what honorable ITAT had noted, AO held that activity carried on by the SSC along with the other co-owner amounts to business activity, and therefore AO treated it as business receipt and disallowed the exemption claimed under section 54 of the Act. Now, para 13, बहुत महत्वपूर्ण पैराग्राफ है. Pay attention. On perusal of notice for limited scrutiny, we find that there was no mentioning or whisper about examination of fact whether SSC was engaged in business property development. Accordingly, we hold that AO has exceeded its jurisdiction by denying benefit under 54 on the reasoning that SSC is engaged in business or property development, as same was not mandated under limited scrutiny. तो ITT बता रही है कि limited scrutiny में कहीं भी कोई उल्लेख नहीं था कि SSC की activity check करो, but AO had traveled beyond and AO had looked into my activity. And finally, पैरा 17 में ITAT ने लिखा, we are not convinced with the argument of learned DR that issue raised by AO is limited to the activity of sale of property only. It is because we admit the contention of DR, then head of income will also get changed. The right course of action for AO is to take approval from the competent authority. Thus, in our considered view, this inaction of AO should not cause harassment to the SSC. So this is a wonderful judgment. कि assessing officer ने permission नहीं लिया है, so that should not cause harassment to the SSC. And finally, in para 18, tribunal had given the favor on technical ground. And para 19, they said SSC succeeded on technical issue, and therefore we refrain ourselves from adjudicating other issue raised on merit. Other issue becomes infractious. तो कोर्ट ने मुझे टेक्निकल ग्राउंड पे फेवर दिया और 1,12,00,000 की जो डिमांड थी नरेंद्र भाई की वो कोर्ट ने जीरो कर दी. So this is one of the wonderful judgment. I request members to look into other judgments I have given. Serial number 6, Nitin Kilawala. Serial number 7, Suresh Jugra. Different tribunal I have collected. Nilesh Vasant Sende. It is again a recent judgment of Pune ITAT. I think 8 months before this judgment has been delivered, a wonderful judgment. So this is, I am ending my first part of the session. Now second part, we are starting the ordinance. It will take 1 minute or 2 minutes on my part to open that presentation. Kindly bear with me for a while. Now, we are moving towards the ordinance. I have not discussed anything on COVID because government is taking care of us. We are lucky enough that we are under the wisdom of Narendra Modi ji, Prime Minister, and his team, and they are taking necessary actions to mitigate, to reduce, and to overcome the impact of COVID-19. And one of the measures they came out is Taxation and Other Law Relaxation Ordinance 2020. So let us look at close by close analysis. I am limiting this discussion with the permission of chairperson, the committee member, that we are just limiting this for income tax purpose only.
Yes, sure.
Thank you. Now, first part is all about the COVID. We are not reading it. Now, let us look at this ordinance. Wherever applicable, you can look into those who are practicing GST as well. I have given the overview of the entire ordinance. First chapter deals with preliminary. Second is relaxation of certain provisions of specified act. The word used is specified act. Mind well on that part. I'll come to that. Third is amendment to Income Tax Act 1961. That I am going to take care in this discussion. 2 and 3. Amendment to Vivad Se Vishwas. That also I will look into because there is only one observation of this ordinance or one change in this ordinance. Then relaxation under indirect tax law. So those who are practicing indirect tax law, they should look into the serial number 5. Serial number 6, Finance Act 2019 and Goods and Service Tax 2017 CGST. I am right now looking at para 2. What are the specified act dealt with by these ordinance that one should look into? Wealth tax, income tax, prohibition of Benami Property Transaction Act, then various Finance Act 2004, Chapter 7, Finance Act 2013, Black Money Act 2015, more particularly Undisclosed Foreign Income Asset Act, then Finance Act 16, Chapter 8, and Direct Tax Vivad Se Vishwas Scheme 2020. That deals with specified act so far as Chapter 2 of the Act is concerned. अब हम डिटेल में देख रहे हैं उसकी इनकम टैक्स एक्ट पे पहले इम्पैक्ट. तो चैप्टर 2 में सेक्शन 3, I am dealing with section 3 subsection 1 clause A. I have given close by close analysis so that one can really look into the wordings. I have not given the tables. You have received all tables कि ये डेडलाइन यहाँ से यहाँ बढ़ चुकी है, लेकिन कुछ सवाल दिमाग में आएंगे, इस डेडलाइन का क्या हुआ? तो टेबल से कुछ काम नहीं बनेगा unless you read word to word what the ordinance pick, so that you can envisage that your situation also falls where in this particular section or subsection, and accordingly I am getting the advantage. So let us look at section 3 subsection 1 clause A. It says that wherever any time limit has been specified, now I am restricting myself to Income Tax Act. They have written specified act. Where any time limit has been specified in or prescribed or notified under the Income Tax Act, and which falls during the period COVID, post-COVID, that is 20th March 2020 to 29th June 2020. Some asterisk is appearing. I'll come to that later on. Then these get extended up to 30th June 2020. तो अगर कोई एक्ट में कोई टाइम लिमिट इस तारीख फॉल हो रही है 20 मार्च 20 से 29 जून 20 तक, तो वो हमें डीम्ड एक्सटेंडेड मान लेनी है ये ऑर्डिनेंस के जरिए 30 जून 20 तक। ठीक है, अब किसके लिए ये टाइम लिमिट बढ़ाई गई? लेट अस लुक एट 3(1)(a). 3(1)(a) डील्स विद कंप्लीशन और कंप्लायंस ऑफ द फॉलोइंग। जो वर्डिंग्स यूज किए गए हैं दैट आई हैव पुट इनटू टेबल, kindly pay attention, this table is not a part of ordinance. They have given us continuous wordings, but उन्होंने वर्ड लिखा है completion of any proceedings और passing of order. तो एग्जाम्पल क्या होगा? कोई भी, जैसे मान लो मेरे केस में यहाँ 3 केस जो 263 में चल रहे थे, पेंडिंग थे, और उसका ऑर्डर पास करना बाकी था, और वो टाइम बारिंग हो रहा था 31 मार्च को, तो दैट 31 मार्च 20 falls between these date, so that time limit get extended up for principal CIT or CIT up to what? 30th June 2020. That means we may receive 263 order by which date? This date. तो जहां जहां भी कोई भी प्रोसीडिंग पेंडिंग है असेसिंग ऑफिसर की और उसकी कोई डेडलाइन है और ये डेडलाइन इन तारीख के बीच फॉल हो रही है, तो नाउ फॉर असेसिंग ऑफिसर it get extended up to 30th June 2020. Similarly, it is a timeline for issue of notice. Example I have given of a 148 notice. We know that if assessing officer would like to assume jurisdiction and he would like to assess us under section 147, then there is a precondition that he must serve a notice under section, he must issue, I'm sorry, the wording used in the 148 is issue, he must issue a notice under 148 of the act. तो टाइम बारिंग अगर हम देखें 6 साल का 31 मार्च 2020 को, तो टाइम बारिंग हो रहा था डोमेस्टिक इनकम एस्केपमेंट को लेकर AY 13-14 को लेकर, वो 31 मार्च 20 को वो टाइम बारिंग हो रहा था, और हम सबको 133(6) की नोटिस आई थी, खास करके वो लोगों ने जिन्होंने रिटर्न फाइल नहीं किया था, बिकॉज देयर इज अ क्लियर कट सिबिलिटी इंस्ट्रक्शन इन 2019 कि जिन लोगों ने रिटर्न फाइल नहीं किया है और कुछ ट्रांजैक्शंस हैं उनके, तो दे मस्ट बी इनवाइटेड फॉर व्हाट 147 असेसमेंट, और उसके लिए उनको 148 की नोटिस इशू करनी होगी, तो वो टाइम लिमिट भी अपने आप बढ़कर 30 जून 20 हो गई। उसी तरह इंटीमेशन, जो भी वर्ड लिखे गए वो बता रहा हूँ और एग्जांपल बता रहा हूँ आपको मैं। 143(1), जिन लोगों ने फाइनेंशियल 18-19 में रिटर्न फाइल किए हम लोगों ने, तो नॉर्मल उसकी टाइम लिमिट क्या रहती है? 1 year फ्रॉम द एंड ऑफ फाइनेंशियल ईयर इन विच रिटर्न गॉट फाइल। तो आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट अ फाइनेंशियल ईयर 18-19 वेयर वी हैव फाइल्ड द रिटर्न, उसका एंड होगा 31 मार्च 19 को, वहां से 1 साल यानी 31 मार्च 20 तक फाइनेंशियल ईयर 18-19 के इंटीमेशन हमें मिल सकते हैं। वो इंटीमेशन लेट हो सकते हैं, इसका मतलब रिफंड भी लेट हो सकता है 30 जून 20 तक। फिर कुछ नोटिफिकेशन, तो जैसे अभी ये हमारा बजट आया 194A सबसेक्शन 3, उन्होंने एक डेडलाइन लिखी है 31 मार्च 20 तक टाइम लिमिट लिखी है, वहां तक कोई नोटिफिकेशन निकल सकता है 194A(3) क्लोज नंबर 3 के अंतर्गत। वो टाइम लिमिट भी अपने आप बढ़कर क्या हो गई 30 जून 20। ये प्रेजेंट बजट में से मैंने चुना, रिसेंट बजट में से, तो यही ऐसी कोई टाइम लिमिट है तो वो भी नोटिफिकेशन इशू करने को लेकर गवर्नमेंट विल गेट एक्सटेंडेड टाइम लिमिट। इसके अलावा कोई सेंशन और अप्रूवल, तो सेंशन अप्रूवल में रिलेट टू इवन चैरिटेबल ट्रस्ट और सेंशन अप्रूवल इंटरनली एज वेल, तो वहां भी कोई अगर टाइम लिमिट है तो दैट टाइम लिमिट गेट व्हाट एक्सटेंडेड। अब हम देखने जा रहे हैं क्लोज नंबर बी 3(1)(b). ध्यान दे, अब यहां किसकी बात कर रहे हैं? पैराग्राफ वही दोहराया है, कंप्लीशन और कंप्लायंस ऑफ द फॉलोइंग। I am reading the wordings given. Filing of appeal. The time limit for filing of appeal at any stage, CIT appeal, tribunal, high court, supreme court, through these ordinance get extended up to 30th June 2020. Apart from that, those who have attended the lecture of our senior advocate Tushar Ramani ji, he had also given the suo motu writ filed by the Honorable Supreme Court, where also we are getting the relief in terms of all these deadlines. Second is very important. The word used is reply. That means filing of reply also get extended. If provided, remember, your due date for filing reply falls between these dates. 20 मार्च से 29 जून तक फॉल हो रहा है, उनके लिए बढ़कर क्या हो गई है 30 जून 2020. तो यहाँ क्या आएगा, अगर आपको 133(6) की नोटिस है आपके क्लाइंट को, या आपके क्लाइंट को 142(1) की नोटिस दी गई है, तो इसका रिप्लाई, दैट इज व्हाट माय अंडरस्टैंडिंग स्पीक्स, कि रिप्लाई की टाइम लिमिट आप 30 जून 2020 तक आप रिप्लाई दे सकते हैं. Filing of application. Now, when I use the word application, then example comes to my mind is section 264. If I'd like to seek revision in my favor, means revision in favor of SSC under section 264, I need to make an application to the commissioner within a deadline of 1 year from the end of financial year in which that order of assessing officer which sought to be revised got communicated. वो time limit अगर मार्च को खत्म हो रही है, तो you will get automatic extension of 30th June 2020. उसी तरह रिटर्न फाइलिंग रिटर्न, इन रिटर्न फाइलिंग रिटर्न खास करके AY 1920 which was belated return got due including even revised return, both deadline was ending on 31st March 20. It also got extended up to what 30th June 20. उसी तरह फर्निशिंग ऑफ स्टेटमेंट, जो स्टेटमेंट की डेडलाइन इन तारीख के बीच में आ रही है TDS के रिटर्न की, वो सारी अपने आप क्या हो जाएगी, याद रहे मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ, जो रिटर्न की फाइलिंग ड्यू डेट कौन सी तारीख के बीच में आ रही है, 20 मार्च 20 से 29 जून 20 तक, वो सारे रिटर्न की डेडलाइन अपने आप क्या हो गई 30 जून 2020. तो अकॉर्डिंगली मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कॉम्प्लायंस बर्डन बहुत रिलैक्स कर दिया है. तो आई रिक्वेस्ट ऑल द टीम मेंबर अहमदाबाद ब्रांच और ऑल गुजरात branch chairman and the committee members to keep more and more seminars, because members are free, they can sharpen the skill in this difficult time. फिर furnishing of report और other record, तो यहाँ आएगा TDS certificate, TCS certificate, filing of any document, तो यहाँ आएगा हमारा document of filing Aadhaar and linking with PAN, all that get extended. I am coming to clause C, very interesting, 3(1)(c). Now they are talking about payment. Clause C, they said that any time limit for making payment or deposit for claiming category B deduction under chapter 6A. When I talk about category B, means it is starting with section 80C and ending with 80 GGC. तो 80C से लेकर 80 GGC ये सबके लिए हमें जो 31 मार्च के पहले फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग एंड टैक्स प्लानिंग करना था, लेकिन हम नहीं कर पाए, और क्लाइंट भी इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं कर पाए, डिपॉजिट नहीं कर पाए, दे कैन मेक डिपॉजिट अप टू 30th June 2020. Second, making investment acquisition construction for claiming exemption under 54 to 54G. ध्यान दे वर्ड यूज किए गए हैं इन्वेस्टमेंट एक्विजिशन कंस्ट्रक्शन. तो सारे कैपिटल गेन के एग्जेम्पशन, मान लो आपको इन्वेस्टमेंट करना है 54 EC के अंदर बॉन्ड 6 महीने में, और वो 6 महीने की डेडलाइन इस तारीख के बीच फॉल हो रही है, तो इट गेट ऑटोमेटिकली एक्सपांडेड अप टू 30th June. उसी तरह मान लो आपका कोई एक्विजिशन कंस्ट्रक्शन का डेडलाइन खत्म हो रहा है और आपको कैपिटल गेन स्कीम में से पैसे उठाकर घर खरीदना है या कंस्ट्रक्शन करवाना है, वो टाइम लिमिट अगर यहाँ खत्म हो रही है, इस पे फॉल हो रही है, तो डेफिनेटली यू विल गेट एक्सटेंडेड टाइम टू व्हाट 30th June. इसके अलावा गवर्नमेंट स्टिल नोटिफाई अदर प्रोविजन ऑफ द एक्ट ओवर एंड अबव दिस गवर्नमेंट हैड येट नॉट नोटिफाइड, मींस पावर हैज बीन गिवन थ्रू ऑर्डिनेंस. फिर जिन लोगों को मैन्युफैक्चरिंग करना था, प्रोडक्शन शुरू करना था या सर्विसेज रेंडर करना शुरू करना था, सेक्शन 10AA के अंतर्गत जहां उनको SEZ की परमिशन, SEZ कमिश्नर से परमिशन आई थी, परमिशन में कंडीशन था कि आपको ये मैन्युफैक्चरिंग या प्रोवाइडिंग सर्विसेज शुरू कर देना 31 मार्च 20 के पहले, उनके लिए भी रिलीफ हो गया. दे कैन स्टार्ट कंस्ट्रक्शन और प्रोवाइडिंग सर्विसेज अप टू 30th June 2020. अब बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है सेक्शन 3(2) ऑफ द ऑर्डिनेंस. वहां ये इंडिपेंडेंट है और क्लियरली लिखा है विदाउट प्रेजुडाइज टू सबसेक्शन 3(1), यानी 3(1) को हमें भूल जाना है। 3(2) इज इंडिपेंडेंट। इंडिपेंडेंट क्या कहता है, अगर कोई ड्यू डेट है, ध्यान से पढ़ें, which falls between this and due date is for what? For payment of amount toward tax or levy. If there is some due date for payment of tax or levy falling between 20th March 20 to 29th June 20, then if it is not paid, then you can pay up to 30th June 20. But अगर आप ऐसा करेंगे तो इनकम टैक्स को लेकर लिखा है रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट shall not exceed 0.75% per month और a part of month, यानी डिले कहलाएगा, लेकिन आपको इंटरेस्ट 1% की जगह कितना देना है, 0.75। अगर टीडीएस है, मान लो आपने डिडक्ट कर लिया लेकिन डिपॉजिट नहीं करवाया, तो टीडीएस में 1.5% है, तो इसके बजाय आपको 0.75% इंटरेस्ट देना है, आधा इंटरेस्ट देना है। एंड वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, नो पेनल्टी and no prosecution shall be sanctioned for delay. So this is my suggestion and recommendation to all my practicing members. You should guide your client if they are running in financial difficulties looking to COVID-19, and after opening they may not be able to manage their finance effectively, then they can postpone subject to a very nominal interest cost of 0.75% per month or a part of month, and they can postpone. They should not worry. There would not be a penalty. There would not be a prosecution. Only interest cost will follow. But I repeat and repeat, time limit should fall between these date. तो मैंने एग्जाम्पल लिया है, जैसे 234C का इंटरेस्ट लगता है फर्स्ट इंस्टॉलमेंट ऑफ एडवांस टैक्स ऑफ फाइनेंस ईयर 2021, ये फॉल होगा 15 जून 20 को, तो वो ये फॉल हो रहा है ये तारीख के बीच में। तो अगर आप नहीं चुकाते हैं तो आपको 1% के बजाय कितना इंटरेस्ट देना है, 0.75%। उसी तरह मान लो अप्रैल महीने का टीडीएस है, आप लेट डिपॉजिट कर रहे हैं अप्रैल मई का, तो अगर लेट डिपॉजिट करेंगे तो रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट नॉर्मली 1.5% है, और अप्रैल की ड्यू डेट क्या रहती है, 7 मई, और मई की ड्यू डेट क्या रहती है, 7 जून। तो दिस इज फॉलिंग बिटवीन व्हाट, 20th March 20 to 29th June 20। तो वहां आपको इंटरेस्ट कितना चुकाना है, 0.75%। इसके अलावा उन्होंने सेक्शन 1023C का अमेंडमेंट किया है ऑर्डिनेंस के जरिए, और वहां बताया है कि 1023C में पीएम केयर फंड को इंक्लूड किया गया है। इसका मतलब कि जो भी इनकम या कंट्रीब्यूशन पीएम केयर फंड रिसीव करेगा, पीएम केयर फंड खुद को इनकम टैक्स नहीं चुकाना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज दे विल बी एग्जेम्प्ट अंडर 1023C। उसी तरह जैसे हमारे young and dynamic chairman, energetic chairman, who had suggested us to PM Care to contribute generously. तो अगर हम contribute करेंगे तो section 80G has been amended and we are eligible for 100% deduction, and there will not be a ceiling on this contribution. यानी जो हमारी सीलिंग है 10% ऑफ टोटल इनकम वाली, नॉर्मली वो सीलिंग भी यहाँ अप्लाई नहीं होगी। हाँ, एक सीलिंग है, यू कैन नॉट गिव डोनेशन मोर देन ग्रॉस टोटल इनकम, ठीक है, वो सीलिंग रहेगी। अगर आप दे भी देंगे अगर डोनेशन उससे ऊपर, तो आई एम श्योर कि आपका जनरस एक्ट लिमिटेड स्क्रूटिनी में कन्वर्ट हो सकता है कि आपके पास इनकम ही नहीं है और आप इतना सारा डोनेशन कहाँ से दे रहे हैं। अब विवाद से विश्वास का एक छोटा सा चेंज, सेक्शन 5 ऑफ द ऑर्डिनेंस स्पीक्स अबाउट सेक्शन 3 ऑफ डायरेक्ट टैक्स विवाद से विश्वास, वेयर दे सेड जो एडिशनल 10% हमें चुकाना था 31 मार्च के बाद, क्योंकि वहां विवाद से विश्वास में रिक्वायरमेंट थी कि आप 31 मार्च तक चुकाओ तो 100% चुकाना था, और पेनल्टी वगैरह में 25% ऑफ टैक्स था। लेकिन 31 मार्च के बाद अगर 30 जून तक आप पेमेंट करते हो तो यू हैव टू पे एडिशनल 10%। दैट एडिशनल 10% हैज बीन waived off up to 30th June 2000. That 10% has been waived off right now without making additional payment. अब जो एस्ट्रिक हमने देखी थी ऊपर कहीं, याद रहे ये एस्ट्रिक विवाद से विश्वास के लिए नहीं है। अब ध्यान से देखें, जो हमने ऊपर एस्ट्रिक देखी थी वो सारी एस्ट्रिक ये कहलाती है, ये कहती है कि 29 जून 20 के बाद भी अगर गवर्नमेंट को लगा कि ये कोविड बहुत उसका व्यापक हो रहा है और मुश्किल हो रहा है कंट्रोल करने के लिए, तो 20th जून 2020 डेट को गवर्नमेंट बदल सकती है। उसको गवर्नमेंट ऐसा कर सकती है 30th जुलाई कर सकती है या 30th अगस्त कर सकती है, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ कोविड एंड द एक्शन टेकन बाय द गवर्नमेंट टू मिनिमाइज द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ दिस कोविड। बट इफ it still persists and if difficulty still persists on the economy and everything, then still government can extend this. Therefore, my suggestion to the committee member that if our clients are facing difficulty after lockdown is over, and if we really find that provisions are not, we can effectively comply with, then in that case representations have been made from our institute level under the guidance of our young and Dynamic CCM Aniket, and representation to be made that this date 29 June 20 should be extended up to 29 September, so that we can have a peace and our clients will also have a peace. So this is the idea about close by close analysis of this. Some press release has been recently issued by the government. I'll take 3 to 4 minutes and then I will end the session. Let us look at certain guidelines right now. It may take some time for opening. I think my screen gets stopped sharing. Is it?
To share it, or have you deliberated?
Okay,
on-
I'll take
do
2
what?
minutes. One guideline is simple, that that is lower TDS. That those who fail to obtain lower TDS or fail to make an application for lower TDS, so in that event, what can be done is that old lower TDS will continue up to 30th June. That is one of the guidelines. And second guideline, I think very interesting, that I'd like to read just for a while. That is of issue of refund. Just I have said that intimation got also what time limit got extended, so that people are worried, and more particularly those who are the senior citizens waiting for the refund. Then for them, they have said, just pay attention, that 5 lakh rupee refund will be given immediately, and that would give benefit to 14 lakh taxpayers. That is what government says. A refund up to 5 lakh. It has also been decided to issue all pending GST and custom refund, which would provide benefit around to 1 lakh business entity. And total refund government is planning to give very soon of 18,000 crore rupee. And this is the press release of government on 8th April. And last, I would like to share, that is slightly not a proper way they have drafted this. That is on 15G and 15H. I'm reading that slightly word to word so that one can look into. Now what 15G and 15H, they have said, if person has submitted valid form for earlier year, financial 19-20. So if somebody had submitted 15G and 15H, then that 15G and 15H will be valid up to 30th June also. Unfortunately, this guideline says, this order of severity under 119 says, जिन्होंने 15GH सबमिट किया है 31 मार्च 20 के पहले फाइनेंशियल 19-20 के लिए, उनको ही सिर्फ बेनिफिट मिलेगा 30 जून 20 को लेकर, यानी जिनका सबमिट करना रह गया है, they will not get the advantage. So in that case, if somebody had not filed for 19-20, I'll suggest that they should start filing online, because we practicing members are available to the benefit of the client online. So with this remark, I request our coordinator Vishan Bhai to take charge of the screen and to take charge of the session.
Yes, thank you, Mehul bhai, but there are some questions, and if some important questions, if you want to to address for 5 minutes, we have a time of 5 minutes now. So, Sunil bhai, if
please, Sunil bhai.
I would
yes,
request
he is in the WhatsApp group.
I would request everyone to remain login, and I'm reading the queries which I received one by one. Mehul bhai, the first one.
Is it available in my WhatsApp?
No.
Okay, please proceed.
Yeah. According to circular in 2018, for the information received from any authorities, and such information gives income escape assessment exceeding 5 lakhs. And only the scope of limited scrutiny increases, or the scrutiny gets converted into the completed scrutiny.
See, on primary reading, there is no mention of 5 lakh and 10 lakh. So one has to read in detail whether there is a supersession, whether these instructions supersede earlier instruction or not, that one has to read minutely. I am not able to recollect exactly, because there were a series of instructions. If it is written that it is in supersession of earlier instruction, then there is no limit of 5 lakh and 10 lakh. There is no distinction between metro and non-metro. So apparently it seems that there is no distinction of metro and non-metro. Apparently it seems there is no escapement of 5 lakh and 10 lakh, irrespective of limit. If there is an information received from outside agency or intelligence department, and if satisfaction is recorded by O and approval is granted, in my opinion, whatever I have read before you during the course of seminar, I feel it that AO can proceed on that issue irrespective of amount and irrespective of limit as per city. But still, one should look into in detail.
Okay, thank you. Another one is regarding whether the duty of PF and professional tax is extended or not. I think it is not covered by relaxation.
So you have to look at specified act.
Yes.
And what
yes.
I have read, specified act, then in specified act, there is no mention about that. So accordingly, I request the committee member, Sunil Bhai, our tax committee chairperson, and the other committee member and the branch and our CCM to really represent these matters so that we can have the benefit. They have written the other clauses of the act, but they have not mentioned these act. So definitely it should be, attention should be drawn to the.
In my view also PF is not extended so far.
Yes, yes, apparently it seems like that.
Now another one is SSCS purchased asset in March 2020.
Okay.
Due to lockdown, required installation and commission could not be completed before 31st March.
So I got I got a 14
Put
crore
to
asset
use,
depreciation.
put to use date by extended March 20 for claim of depreciation could be extended.
Now, if you look at, then we have got close by close analysis. In that close by close analysis, there was no reference of this. There was a reference of investment, purchase, acquisition. If you look at the wordings, I think if I'm having that guideline, let me read it. But I think I am not okay. But one has to really read the language of that. Whether that guideline, let me read that act, I think. Yes, what it says, I'm using the word used are making of payment deposit for, I'm sorry. Yes, wordings used are making payment or deposit, making of investment, acquisition, construction. And if you look at, then this particular clause 3(1)(c) is very specific. It talks about category B investment and 54 to 54G. Therefore, there is no mention of put to use so far as claiming depreciation is concerned. But what I recommend again to the committee member, that serial number 3, I have said government may notify other provision over and above serial number 1 and 2. That is what I have given in my presentation. The government may notify. So in that case, request may be put to the government that if we have used at least before 30th June 20, then benefit of depreciation should be given for the financial year 1920 as well. That is what my view is. But we need to make a representation. There is no express, because they have said we may cover up other provision of that at a later stage. So we need to recommend to the government. Only on our recommendation, government may take up this. Any other question?
Yeah, we will take questions for next 2-3 minutes, and then after, if the questions are left out, I will forward to you, and the answers will be posted in the group. The another is regarding that the TDS return due date is extended, we know, by 30th June. So whether the issue of TDS certificate, that is also extended.
Yes,
by
I have mentioned specifically record and statement. So it is automatically extended. Any due date is falling of issuing this TDS certificate between these 2 dates. That is starting from 20th March 20 to 29th June 20. If it is falling in that date, it got automatically extended up to 30th June.
The next one is the judgment discussed today.
Okay.
Information received by AO, that is a points traveled beyond the limited scrutiny.
Okay.
Whether the information can be used for reopening the case under section 147 in future.
Yes, where I was expecting this question. I think let us make it a last question. Very
Yes, sir. It will be last question.
Yes.
Because we are running out of time and we have another webinar for students at 3.
Yes,
so let's
Great.
conclude after this.
Yes, this is the last question. Mehul bhai, yes.
Then in that case, what I have spoken while discussing Narendra Patel case, that we remain silent. We allowed AO to expand the scope. We have not raised any objection during the assessment proceeding. In first appeal, we have raised the objection by an additional ground. And we asked Commissioner Appeal to call for a remand report that whether assessing officer had taken any permission or not. And assessing officer had admitted that he had not taken any permission. So AO had said that I am allowed because I have not deviated from the issue. I am roving around the issue of property only. But what happened? Commissioner Appeal had not given favor on technical ground. Commissioner Appeal confirmed on merits. And he said that AO had rightly changed from capital gain to business gain. And then we are before Honorable ITAT. Now what happened here, Sunil Bhai and the other members, that already Commissioner Appeal had decided on merit this issue. Now there is a clear-cut explanation under section 147, and if I am not wrong, it is due to Madras High Court in 2008 Finance Act. Amendment was done that once matter has been considered and decided in appeal, then that matter cannot be reopened by the assessing officer. Therefore, in my view, once it has been decided by the Commissioner Appeal or the ITAT, here ITAT had made it infructuous. That means it may become live at a later stage if department or revenue may prefer an appeal to High Court. But right now, Commissioner Appeal had decided that matter, and that's why AO cannot reopen that case. And by the time matter will, AO will think of 6 years will also got over. So even that way also, time limit way also, matter will end. I am again thankful to the Ahmedabad branch. I am thankful to the Bishan Bhai who had really, and actively he is participating in a technical way. I am thankful to the Almighty, because one of the verse of Bhagavad Gita will end up, ભગવાન લખે છે કે બુદ્ધિમાનોની બુદ્ધિ હું છું અને જે તેજોમય પર્સન જેનું તેજ અર્જુન હું છું. એટલે ભગવાનની બુદ્ધિના કારણે જ કોઈ આ ગો વેબિનાર બનાવ્યું, એ ભગવાનની બુદ્ધિના કારણે જ આઈ એમ એબલ ટુ રીડ એન્ડ એક્સપ્લેન. એ ભગવાનની બુદ્ધિના કારણે જ કિશનભાઈ અને આપણને બધા કોઓર્ડિનેટ કરીને they are helping us to mitigate this difficult situation of COVID. So I am thankful to Almighty and all others who had participated. Thank you very much.
Sir, thank you very much. As you have said that the God is great and he is with us in this difficult time. We are just only, a medium to serve, and I'm really grateful that you, in this difficult time, you being a God to us, you served us, you have deliberate on the subject and help us in serving the members in the better way. Sir, actually, Fanil Bhai said that I did all this, but that's not true. Actually, he has the person who has motivated me, and last year in one of the discussion, he said or asked me a question, Bishan Bhai, don't you think that we are here to serve? And sir, it gives me a direction. So thank you very much all to be a part of this webinar series. Sunil Bhai, thank you so much that you have coordinated and formulated this wonderful series for the members. Sir, from my bottom of my heart, I am thankful to you, obliged to you. Thank you very much. All the participants, thanks. It is not end. We are definitely continue to meet and discuss the issues on income tax. And again, I request you to join in the GST seminar at 5 p.m. We are having a wonderful faculty, CA Sunil Gabawala from Bombay, who is going to discuss and deliberate on the topic of input tax.